Hello, welcome back to another video on CHA's YouTube channel where trauma healing and spiritual growth are front and center while combating radio frequencies for healthier living. So let's talk about it. Narcissistic parents, they want child slaves. Think about it. And I know some of y'all can relate personally, and then a lot of us can relate by observing this kind of behavior with narcissistic parents who want their child or children to be their slaves, if you will. In other words, anything the narcissistic parents want, they'll tell the child, hey, go get that for me. Hey, how about you go grab that for me? Narcissistic parents sitting on the couch. And when the child's old enough to know what a hairbrush is or anything it is that the narcissistic parent is wanting, exactly, tell the child to go get it. Instead of that, because the narcissistic parent is lazy now, right? Remember, narcissist and sloth. Yeah, they are very slothful. And God is very clear about that. Yeah, we're not to be lazy, chosen one. So, narcissistic parents are though. And narcissists in general, I mean, we know they're lazy, but narcissistic parent. So, that would be another reason why they have children in the first place. Okay, there's a lot of reasons why, but that's one. Okay, and, yeah, just to basically boss them around, you know, and have them do all the hard work. I know y'all probably thinking of the Cinderella movie. Okay, well, narcissistic parent, that's what they want their child to be. Yeah, it's like the living maid. Because I can tell you from experience that even though the Jezebel that gave birth to me was fairly decent with staying on top of keeping things clean, there toward the end, not so much, because she was losing her physical strength. I caught on later on that she was wanting me to pick up her slack without asking me. What she did was ask if she could borrow my Swifter stuff. I had a Swifter sweeper thingy and a handheld duster. And so she asked to borrow those. No problem, sure, okay. And I realized later on that that was because she was losing her physical strength. And the Swifter stuff, it depends on what it is you're trying to clean up with those. But typically, if it's a light dusting job or whatever, it doesn't take a whole lot of oomph. You know what I mean? Okay. So it just makes cleaning easier because it's not so like burdensome or so heavy in using those tools. And she was able to manage that until she was on her deathbed. But I thought about it later on. I said, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, of course, she was hoping that I would take over some of the household chores. No, I had my own room to clean. And I do remember when I would start cleaning my bathroom that they would get excited, that you Jezebel would get, well, the one that gave birth to me especially would get really excited. You know why that is? Because I was using chemicals. Unnecessarily. And so as part of our combat against radio frequency, we've cut out use of harsh chemicals. And we now use vinegar water and mild soap, like the dish soap, and Dawn dish soap, very mild. Vinegar water works great on mirrors, stuff, so etc. But at that time, I didn't know about all that. But now I understood why they got a little excited when I would clean my bathroom. Not just because I'm cleaning, but because I'd be breathing in those fumes. So anyway, the narcissistic parents, they want child slaves though. Like, seriously, we've seen it. And I remember watching the narcissistic parent, before I knew that's what it was, parent asking their kid to go get this or go get that. And I do remember thinking to myself, well, are they not a grown adult? Can they not get up and go get it themselves? I mean, why are they? Now we know why. Okay, now we know why. And yeah, because it did go through my mind, like, this grown adult can go and get that just fine, but yet because the kid happened to be around and the adult didn't want to go get it, had the kid go do it. And I was like, oh my goodness. But see, now we understand why. Because narcissistic parents, they want child slaves. They want doormats, just like all narcissists want doormats. And so narcissistic parents also want doormats. They want their children to be doormats. And, oh man, I know, it's like, wow. And so now we understand better why a lot of children that have narcissistic parents, scapegoats, okay, and why a lot of them, now that's it, it's the scapegoat usually that they want to turn into a doormat. The golden child, not so much. Not so much, okay? The golden child would definitely get more preferential treatment. In other words, they won't ask the golden child to go and get this or that. Okay, they'll go get it and they'll bring one extra for the golden child. Yeah, narcissistic parents. So keep that in mind, all right? You all, there's a difference in narcissistic parents and how they favor the golden child. So the scapegoat, chosen one, is usually the one that they want to turn into a doormat. Now, mind you, if they've got more than one child, okay, you're gonna have a scapegoat and you're gonna have the golden child. If there's more than two, you're still gonna have, you could have two golden child and one scapegoat. Listen, and I know a lot of y'all can relate because that's how it goes. And so when that happens, it's usually the chosen one, the scapegoats. Now, can there be two scapegoats? Sure. It depends on how many siblings there are, how many children there are. There certainly could be. So be mindful of that. And so the narcissistic parents will often ask their scapegoat child to go and get that. They want to turn their scapegoat child into a slave. And it's unfortunate, but that's why a lot of them grow up and will burn out on a lot of that stuff. Like, oh my gosh, yeah, like having to do, I mean, we don't mind doing chores and cleaning up and things like that. That's not the issue, but as far as like going all out and yeah, it's very different, very, very different. And we do get burned out from time to time. And we can understand why, because the narcissistic parent wanted to turn us into that. And I understand that there are positions out here in the matrix where you be like a cleaning person. Yours truly was one there for a little while too. Nothing wrong with that. Okay, nothing wrong with that. It's honorable and it's right. It's a job is a job. But in the family, in the family, it's supposed to be like teamwork, you would think. But we know that narcissistic parents also are not team players either. So you got to keep that in mind. And yes, if you hear anything in the background, it could be the rain hitting the windows. It is raining once again in this location. But I wanted to get on here and give y'all that because some of you may be wondering, if you are in that boat of feeling burnt out with this task or that task, or you cringe when people will actually ask you to bring them something. You can cringe. That's a trauma response. And that's because your narcissistic parent was trying to turn you into a child slave. So it takes time to overcome that. So like if I were to come and ask you, like you tell me, hey, I'm on my, let's say we're working on a project together, okay? And you let me know, you send me a text, you're like, I'm going to the store. I'll be back in like 15 minutes. I got to run to the store. And I would say, hey, by the way, while you're at the store, would you mind picking up a little something, like whatever it is for yours truly, and I'll pay you when you get back, when you bring it, if you can. And if you cringe at that, then that's a trauma response. And it's because your narcissistic parent turned you into a doormat for a season or so, okay? And you have to overcome that, and it's totally doable. Because chosen ones, we don't mind doing favors for one another. We really don't mind doing things for other people, period. But now we learn that we don't want to put our energy like that towards the narcissist, because the narcissist, that's right, you give them an inch, they'll take a mile. But chosen one, we don't do that. It's just you happen to be at the store. I'm like, hey, you know, I was going to run when you got back, but how about so that we can continue working on this project? Yeah, and we'll get it done. So that kind of thing. But we don't want you to cringe at that. And so if you do, that's because the narcissistic parent turned you into a child slave for a little while. And that's another trauma trigger to overcome. And it's totally doable, just like all trauma triggers, you can overcome. Yeah, absolutely. And don't hesitate to reach out if you have any question. And if you need help overcoming trauma triggers, life obstacle, or with unpacking that bag of talent and gift that God put on the inside of you, don't forget we have individual consulting and coaching sessions available every Tuesday through Sunday right on the website. The website link is in the video description below. It is cdhrwdrmd.org. And you will find consulting and coaching session in the navigation drop down menu. You go there and you will find the different ones. We have 30-minute, 1 hour, 1.5, 2, and 3. And so you can see what days and times are available for each one of those. A calendar will pop up. And if the day is still lit, that means it's still available. There's still some time slots there. So I highly encourage y'all to check that out. And don't forget to read the description of the 30-minute, the 1 hour, and the 1.5 hour. There's a BTBW code to get you a discount off your first individual consulting and coaching session with yours truly. And so you will let me know if you want to do the session by phone or virtually. If you prefer virtual, then we will discuss, do you want FaceTime, Google Meets? There's several different options that we have where we can do a virtual session as well. And then by phone works. Some people do that. It's whatever you are comfortable with. And I look forward to helping you overcome life obstacle, trauma triggers. We'll unpack that bag of talents and gifts that God put on the inside of you, or anything that you need consulting and coaching with in this season. Glory be to God. For additional information, insight, and other great stuff, you can check out these videos right here. Sending love and light to all fellow warriors. Thank you for watching, listening, and for your continued support. Till next time, let's show some gratitude to the Heavenly Father, and you keep being you in Jesus' name. Amen.